Y'all really let this beef slip through the cracks, huh? Like we forgot about it? I ain't. See, Cash Bentley's a Northern Virginian rapper who came up in what I will call the dark age of SoundCloud, when SoundCloud was dead in the eyes of many. Around that late 2018 to late 2019 range, the mainstream had just lost all hope in it and saw a decline, dubbing it to being just an era, with many of his faces and leaders either moving past it, passing away, or falling to irrelevancy due to the fact of failing to evolve, being talented at all, and being more than just a SoundCloud rapper. It was now filled with no good, talentless, auto-tuned out, drugged up clones trying to recreate a moment that had already passed. They had lost all faith in how effective, how impactful, and how great SoundCloud rappers, or rappers who came from SoundCloud, could be, and saw it as a joke.
And I took another.
No one was really talking about it, and if they did, spoke on it as if it was a has-been platform. The underground was truly underground, and by that I mean in the literal goddamn dirt. Shambles. I mean, X and Peep had just died. No Jumper was dying. Emo Trap was getting watered down and turned into this. Kid Boo had just started Kid Booing around. And Space Ghost Perp was, yeah, can you believe he used to look like this? Was, still being Space Ghost Perp. But damn, things weren't looking too good for the underground, as I gotta admit to myself. Apart from some of the already known prominent figures and homies sending their links to me, I wasn't checking for SoundCloud. I wasn't heavy into the scene like I once was 2 to 3 years ago, letting the Q play me a fire-ass song, following an artist's wave, seeing what they f with and fucking with that, watching they live shows on YouTube, stalking their Instagrams. It wasn't like that anymore. Well, I had to wait another year for that. But you see, for now, desperate times called for desperate measures.
And they got my vocal cords replaced with auto-tune. As I tap on this tooth 5 times.
She gotta eat me up.
Bro, corny gimmicks, antics, stunts, full-on fucking sketches were at this stage of the underground standard. I mean, at an all-time high. And I mean, at a time when damn near the only rappers that were on, hot, and popping on the blogs every day were these guys. You can't blame them. And on top of that, with the underground sometimes borrowing some elements from the mainstream and incorporating it with their swag, but even worse, with just a more childish, less interesting, less clever spin on it. It's needless to say that we got our fair share of bullshit. Jace with the fake arrest, Autumn with the fake arrest, having a blast at this goddamn photo shoot over here, Summers with the fake OD, sliding on ops, car crash, IG live and later fight with hacker, fucking old hot sauce on his hands and shit, J-Way, and clone shit, what? Wyland with his fucking, you name it. These dudes were creative, that's for sure. So was Bentley. Well, I mean, first off, in public he took to IG and got to threatening to beating the shit out of some little kids wearing MAGA hats. He got in a street fight, tussling with Tweedledee and Tweedledum over here, and still managed to take the L. In mid-2020, bro did some cringe-ass fake arrest shit, was locked up in the shower and shit, but nothing beats when he faked getting shot or stabbed or whatever. It ain't real. I mean, he went on live almost immediately after, in the car with all his homies freaking out as believable as can be, while he's, you know, not crying or screaming or showing any visible sign of excruciating pain at all, or doing anything, but just typing away, trying to put on the right filters, trying to get the right angles, with all his homies in the whip, tweaking in the car, just trying to convince the audience that they're going through some real nigga shit right now. You know, bless their heart. Somebody got his appendix removed the next day with a band-aid on the wrong side, which actually garnered the attention of major blogs like Say Cheese posting him, leading to him gaining X amount of followers. And I think they took those posts down, cause duh. All leading up to the release of the single Ain't Die Yet, with the fucking band-aid. Where it's basically like, y'all stabbed me, or y'all shot at me, or y'all beat the everlasting fuck out of me. No, I'm not gonna get it back in blood, but I will make a little 2-minute auto-tune jingle on y'all ass. You know what I'm saying? It's SoundCloud Lucy at that. What the fuck? Followed by the subsequent Born a Star 2 tape, not too long after, obviously. But it's all good, you know? They were just on some funny little meme shit, and they were all young, right? Cause we all did some goofy shit looking back. And don't act like when you were young, you were just this sophisticated lame that you are now. Don't say you was a saint. We all pulled our pants all the way down at the urinal and had a random old dude help you pull them back up, like it's just a part of life. And oh, hey yo, why my fitted? Just some dumb kids doing stupid, ignorant, slightly manipulative acts with their friends or whatever. It was all in the name of fun. They never took it too extreme or to the max, at least in this scene. Just doing some lame shit for attention to ultimately benefiting their music careers. As with this possible exposure to a new audience, motherfuckers at least always had to make sure they had a solid catalog of music to back them. But this is something that they've all grew past, right? And are now just focused on protecting and building their brand, being solid businessmen, making revenue and being royalty in the eyes of the fans. It's after that wave began to die down, niggas started making their best music. Bentley had came in contact with the Slay World guys, who funnily enough, he had already been producing for back in 2018, like Off My Chest by Reno, one of his first music videos and big songs, Can't Be Serious by Autumn, and Even Ain't Happened by Kobe. He was getting up there and was being recognized in many different ways, from producing to vocally making some pretty essential tracks, working with some big artists in this scene in 2018 and 2019 respectively. Multi-talented for real. He was no longer just a free lick, producer. He was an all-round artist, and they saw that and fucked with it and kicked it. Like literally kicked it at Summer's crib for like a couple of weeks or maybe months. Niggas forget, bro. Once upon a time when the only Fago niggas knew was a drink, and the only Yeet niggas knew was a dance. And you gotta say y'all before that motherfucker. He was arguably one of the biggest in this lane at the time. As keep in mind, this is pre-TikTok, hype, Bobalam, Gunner. This was before the hyperpop era began, which for their followings at the time was impressive. For the OGs who were there, you can't deny this. He was actually one of the real original plug and be king, alongside acts that people fail to mention, such as Texaco, Rewind Raps. But if you really want to dub anybody the creator of plug and be, and you really want to pin it and put down who really grabbed those damn video game samples and those Mexico dro beats and just overlaid those motherfuckers, it really comes down to the producers, either Zangang, Goyard, or Thrill Boy. One of the three. Fuck it, all three. And if niggas ain't truly respect Bentley's artistry at that time, not only was he getting numbers, gaining a fan base, connecting with Slay, and slowly perfecting his solo sound, it would be taken to the next level, I would say, as soon as he began his friendship with Lil Candypaint.
And what Candy at?
Candy
at? Oh,
that's Cash Bentley.
Wait, is that
Cash Bentley?
Candypaint? I can't believe I'm talking to Candypaint right now. Hold up, bro. I got you.
Keep doing what you're doing, gang. I fuck with the food truck shit.
Are you racist, nigga?
Yeah. This is the life of a pop star.
Candy's low-key a legend, dude. Okay, maybe not really, but he's a mogul in this shit. An OG in this SoundCloud shit, at least. Like, such an OG that I can't even consider him to be a young cat anymore, even if the motherfucker still sound and look 16. And I mean, you know, he is still pretty young at the end of the day, but I definitely wouldn't consider him to be a part of this wave where it's like every nigga that's blowing up looks like they just left their 5th grade promotion. He's definitely not a part of that. And to me, he will always be in this SoundCloud shit. And I mean that in the most sincere and nicest way possible, as that's the way he is. He's one of the most genuine and coolest niggas in this shit. And not to say he's just Mr. Nice Guy and you could just run all over him, as I'm sure he's in handy of the glicky, but most times, and you could just tell by his demeanor, he chooses not to go that route and just be chilling. And is a real nice, likable guy once you understand and watch an interview or get to talking, making some solid music, but never really took off. He already came up around that plug era with doo-wop and young bands. He was also there in the clout era with Trippy in his earlier days, along with DJ Quincy, just fucking shit up in LA every day. And I swear, Quincy had just be knowing everybody. Nigga be everywhere at once and shit. Comethazine, and in this rare vid with Quincy and doo-wop, in the whip with Cardi, and that bitch scared as a motherfucker. And it's even now kicking it with Slay, or Double R, or whatever the fuck, but never took off, which is weird knowing that he came up originally like 6 years ago. All I'm saying is, if he was to blow up, he would have done it a long time ago, but didn't. But hey, what the fuck is blowing up, eh? There's many solely in the underground alone that are proof that you can still be well off in this music shit without being signed or without having a so-called hit, but having a cult-like fan base, as small as it may seem in the grand scheme of things. But as far as his success in music goes in his career thus far, he's a role player, and ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, who knows what could happen and who knows what he wants. He also stuck in the 2000s, but I digress. Back to the tail end 2019. After hearing about Bentley through a DJ Renaissance SoundCloud repost, make sure y'all invest, bro was tapped in and reached out. And when they linked, they hit it off almost immediately and made songs like Pills and Baby, possibly their best and biggest songs together. And probably due to them shooting the video for it with their mutual music video shooter.com Nirvan in September of 2019, you could really tell with Candy not even having too much of his own solo music out at the time. And really, you can argue now, but making songs with a nigga he just met, he must have really fucked with him the long way. And I'm sure at that time he had already been well aware of Summers, Autumn, Can, Kobe, and was tapped in with them at the time. But he didn't acknowledge them, he didn't accept them as much, and flat out I could say, didn't fuck with them as much as Cash Bentley. And this duo just made sense. One of my favorites to come out of this new gen. Musically, their dynamic was like no other. It's hard to even explain, you know? Cause they didn't grow up together. They weren't jocking each other's flows. No one was carrying this person on this song. No one had the better verse or better voice. They weren't just geeked up doing drugs every day. What? Well, No, they weren't together all the time, but despite all of that, they still made things work and made hits. They just sounded good together. Their dynamic and just music alone, bro, they could've had a tape with both of their drowned out, whiny, melodic cadences, while similar to tones in this scene, always hit with each other. And in such a short time, you could tell how much of an impact both of them had on one another. When you look at it from Bentley in his earlier days back in high school, fucking with the wave that doo-wop and Candy had going on, forming his own sound based off of that, taking him to where he got. Candy later off of finding him, and if you're a Candy fan, then you can really relate to what I'm about to say. Candy later on, after finding Ben and Slay, took some inspiration from them, evolved into a more polished, modern, melodic pop rap sound, actually dropping more music with the coming months, with substance, care, cleaner vocals, basically everything that the James Harden Internet Thug era did not have, dropping shit like Wordwise, Bleed, Backends, the OG 22, No Pity with D Savage and Raining, in only the span of like 6 months, and frankly some of the best shit his catalog has to offer. And this is when I would say Bentley was starting to eat. You know, when he started reaching a substantial amount of supporters that were actually obtainable and sustainable. And yeah, you can say the few songs he had with Autumn, Summers, the recognition from Skepta, playing his shit in the club, Jordan Woods fucking with his songs, but nobody had ever really, apart from Nirvana, and really you could say they benefited from each other with the gospel video, making both of their first big original video together. Nobody had ever gave such a push and damn near platform like Candy. Candy was just showing an intense amount of love, sharing and reposting his shit whenever he could. Candy's a tastemaker in a sense, you know? He hops on, knows, or is affiliated with things way before they're popular. Yeah, he's one of those guys. And it seemed like that was gonna be the case with him and Bentley. And no, not in the same way again as that friend that he did fuck with in the beginning, eventually moving on or blowing up into the mainstream and leaving Candy behind like he was just that old friend that never made it. No, not again. This time the right way. I mean, dudes are on the same wavelength, sound, interest, level of popularity. Despite Bentley being out here in the DMV and Candy residing out in LA, he must have really bonded with him back when they shot that baby video. Still connecting, still working. Candy must have saw this and believed in bro so much like no other at the time, and made the executive decision, virtually adding him to his brand and self-made label OCA. That was less of a typical label, but more of an independent collective of friends, a brotherhood. OCA, overcome anything.
And now, you feel Kenny, my brother.
Yeah.
We in OCA.
Yeah.
Overcome anything.
Yeah.
You feel become familiar.
So Bentley, with this new battery in his back, continued thriving in his career, making banger after banger. It's made songs like Selfish.
Now everybody know you, everybody wanna be your friend, but she's selfish.
Now Selfish is arguably Bentley's best song. I mean, from the singing to the subtle mix of new gen plug and B with modern R&B tropes, damn! He's singing about a girl who prioritizes substances, drugs, and other bullshit, just completely disregarding his feelings. But despite all that, despite all of her selfishness, he still wants to work things out and be with her. And it's very simple, it is. But another take and another display of love that we don't see too often, touching on his recently passed cousin and his come up in this shit. And oh boy, I'm telling you, it's no wonder why it's one of his most successful releases to this day. It's the embodiment of the artist Bentley was becoming at that point, and I think Candy would agree, cause he had just dropped a song entitled Selfish himself that basically revolved around the same ideas, but surprisingly didn't take offense to the very similar beat, cadence, and so clear undeniable influence he had on the track, but embraced it. Candy, after hearing this for the first time, probably before it was officially released to the public, took this in and thought, damn, this kid is so fucking talented. And he really took the initiative as the slightly bigger artist than Big Bro, not wanting to let this gem go to waste, and when released by Bentley, if not being well received enough by the fans, to become yet another obscure deleted SoundCloud Lucy just floating along the platform. But for all to hear it in all its glory, he really went as far as to, no joke, he really went as far as to putting the original solo track not on his SoundCloud, not just reposting it again, but on his debut mixtape, or at least his first major breakthrough release, Everything Purple, released on February 8th, 2020, adding Selfish at the end of the original track list last minute. He went that far, just off the strength of his pure fandom, respect, and love for Ben's music. And if you really think about it, with what better person, on what better platform than Candy's tape, his most acclaimed tape at that, and by the way, with songs with bigger artists like Tracy and D Savage, he added the Bentley song alone, which at first glance feels so out of place. And you know the crazy thing is, Candy's not stupid, he's been been in this long enough. He knows he didn't have to do this. If he liked the song that much, he could have clearly just have simply asked Ben to get his producer to extend the beat to at least a second verse minimum, hop on it and drop it as a remix on his tape. But no. As is, to let him shine. And saying from a marketing standpoint, saying that this was a successful connection for Ben, saying that it just worked, would really be an understatement, as funnily enough, this is how I found out about Bentley myself. At the time, just tuning into the latest candypaint project on shuffle, then all of a sudden finding myself not knowing exactly who I was listening to, like recalling different names and shit, but all the while still intrigued and impressed. And I'm sure I'm not the only one of thousands. It made sense, but I just didn't quite get it. It was weird. It was off-putting to see Candy show this amount of love to anybody, to say the least. As let's keep it 100, in a space where niggas would rather beef over soccer balls and hairlines, flows, drugs, I mean some of the silliest shit known to man, than collaborate. Candy's a cool guy, yeah, we know that. I mean, look at this nigga and tell me his goofy ass don't look at least approachable. But never show no love like this to people he's known longer. Like for instance, despite Candy and Doo-Wop knowing each other longer than BC ass, being close and homies from way back, unfortunately Candy and Doo-Wop to this day have close to zero music together after all these years. None released, none unreleased. With his day one, the one he respects the most, the one he always brings up, the one who he, no offense, damn near owes his career to, no music. That's gotta say something. And even now with Double R, Reno and all them, one song with Reno, then compare that to the 4-5-6 with Bentley. Come on, shit was going dumb, going up, and at this point, Bentley had taken the initiative and made that courageous 2.5 thousand mile move to the melting pot of opportunities from VA and Ella, closing in that distance that was limiting them in the beginning, other than just FaceTiming, texting, or sending opens back and forth. But now kicking it with Candy at his and Tracy's crib at the time? What? And they got on bullshit. OCA, man. The grind, the aura, the energy was just different. Doing it up, and they were bound to be the faces of the .com crash brand, which is just .com's Nirvana establishment, his brand, who, in no shade to all the videographers out there, who just stands out so much from the boring bunch. And I can only imagine having that direct link and bond with Nerve, that all you merely have to do is send him an unreleased MP3 through iMessage or something, see if he fucks with it and sees a vision for it, and if so, boom, a fire-ass free video from the bro. It's crazy, but it's the exclusive connect that Ben and Candy had with him, building sort of a close friendship with each other, rather than the same old tired business video handshake, here's $1,000, but no, I have a gun, I will rob you, give me my money back right now. The fact is, they did aid him in his come up, and were some of his only big videos from before. Before Yeet, Can, Reno, Jace, Wick, before Trippy, Goonie, and yes, even before the walking honey bun PNG himself. They were fucking with him before he had even made a dent in the game. He was about ready to ride for these guys, right or wrong. I mean, just the energy leaking through the content they did together. You could tell how much actual fun they were having, and how comfortable they actually were on camera versus other times. You could really tell Nerve was, for one, just having a good time talking to his little bros, and two, was proud of them and excited for what they were bound to do in the future. He was damn near OCA. It's kind of in the same vein as Cole Bennett's connection with Dex, or just that early 2016-2017 wave of SoundCloud rappers, and Zach TV's Rest Up relationship with the early 2012 Chi-Town drill rappers. They'll always have that mutual artistic respect for one another and connection, since they both gained and they both came up together. This was kind of the cosign of a lifetime for Bentley. With all their new girls at the time, they was linking with Bad Baby, probably getting 100K, if not 200, 300K a song easy. Shit was cracking. He started experimenting and started to get a little more in touch with his heritage and his roots, tapping into a new little Corridos flow he'd been developing with songs like Tevas and the whole Cash Corridos tape, which is my favorite from him to date. He was going up, or they were going up regardless. The self-proclaimed OCA Prince had now struck gold for real. Just what he was looking for, just what any artist is looking for. A genuine brotherhood with non-stop potential in all avenues. They were low-key always doing shows together or popping out in general with their girls and Nirvana.
Oh my god, this a good ass blowjob.
Doing one of these song promo stream thingies. Nirvana let them in one of the scenes for Kobe's Angels video, chilling at the crib or just being out and about. Furthermore, with Ben later on Reconcile, on his real debut mixtape, or at least with a solid fan base not paying attention to him, naming a song after .com Nirvana called .com Nirvana, and on his long-lived C-No tape in tribute for his cousin, the track called OCA with his new partner in crime on the second verse, symbolizing and really solidifying his newfound brotherhood and chapter in his career. Bentley, he was going up with his buddies, his friends, and having a great time while doing it. It was fam shit. It was an OCA team. Until it wasn't.
Probably prayed a million times for it. Smelling like loud, I had to mix it up with Tom Ford. In from Paris and then I flew it back like Bonjour. I could drop a million songs, but it's still going on.
Now I want to say around April 2021 is where things get a little blurry to this story. Depressing, shaky, and almost becomes he say she say. With now lost footage, pictures, posts, stories being gone and unretrievable entirely. You useless ass niggas. I swear to God, none of y'all thought to screenshot this shit. You're pretty much gonna have to take all that I say, at least into some consideration, and come up with your own conclusions. I'm sorry. Things had just stopped. They weren't posting pics nor in each other's stories anymore. The unfollowing spree had just begun. The girls weren't fucking with each other either, removing the pics they had together. And even Candy unfollowed and deleted the pics with his girl. It seemed like everyone went to do their own thing without a word. They weren't at the same locations, sharing each other's music, posts, or cooling. They weren't friends anymore. Things were abrupt and that dynamic was gone. But why? The fans were left in the dark. There was no obvious buildup of tension or anything like that. Nothing to the fans, at least, alluding to there being any type of holes in their friendship that led to this. Things had just stopped. It was quiet. Until all of a sudden, on May 14th, a vlog had been released by Bentley of his March adventures with the gang that I honestly didn't think much of. Neither did anyone, really. I mean, why would we? It's just your everyday vlog. I mean, what makes this one so extraordinary? I didn't even watch it on the day it came out and watched it a day later. But little did I know, as later that day, I saw on Candy's IG story him subtly denouncing Bentley, with him being clueless to why he even dropped the vlog, clarifying that he no longer fucks with Bentley and he knows why. And then comes May 17th, 2021. Bentley, seemingly out of his mind, Bentley took to Instagram and did some real cringe shit. In a video where he calls out Candy to a boxing match. It's right about now is where I would play the video, the call out, the skits. But thanks to you useless ass niggas, there's literally no archive, no download, no republish, no reaction. And I mean, not even one of them videos with a fat ass watermark all over this shit. There's literally no copy of the video anywhere on the internet, which sucks, cause I mean, it's not like it's golden content or nothing. It's not something you want to watch every day, but it just would have been funny as shit to roast. Luckily though, a while back, while cleaning out the storage to my phone, I managed to dig up some old backed up photos and previous iCloud backups that were once in my camera roll, and apart from all the extremely incriminating shit, I discovered, or rediscovered shall you, these. A screenshot of the May 17th video, along with the original caption, followed by some comments from very notable figures in this situation, including Candy. And as far as I know, these are the only pieces of media regarding this beef in any corner of the internet, which is still kind of unfortunate because the video in a sense has been erased in the minds of many throughout the sands of time, and they're probably just laying around in these niggas highlights. So hackers, get to work. We can't let this go because this shit was a hit piece. With the caption reading first off, ew, my nigga, manners. There's minors, okay. With the caption reading, you've been taking this to the internet, so now it's my turn. Candypaint OCA, 3 rounds, 1 minute each. What the fuck am I doing a Bentley voice? Let's run it in 2 weeks for our fans. LOL, laughing emojis. And what, the fucking X and Maddox song? What? I did fail to screen record the video and only screenshotted it. Probably because I thought another more popular underground rap page like Hyperpop Daily, Sleeping Underground, or Cash Cow Music, or somebody, damn, would have already beat me to it and there'd be no point to. But fuck. To the many, I'm assuming, that didn't see this, it essentially went like this. It's panned in onto what seems to be a picture of Candy Paint on a wall or something until it pans out. And it's him punching that pic of Candy on a punching bag. And after a few seconds of that, the cameraman turns his attention to Bentley as he says, while slurring and while in the background playing his final song with Candy, GTA 5. Oh, Candy, you been talking all this shit about me on the internet. Now it's my turn, huh? No! Let's set up a boxing match for the fans. You got 2 weeks, bro. Or some stupid shit. Let's run the ones like real men and make some money. What you scared? As he sits back on his chair while his girl hands him a bottle of Henny to quench his thirst after a real man's workout. Oh yeah, and while dropping that big tunk on him, I'll add it. Okay, first off, for the people who remember it, come on, accurate? And come on, yes, no, please, do you want to get slapped? Second off, what the fuck? And third, what the why the fuck? I mean, no one wants to see this. Y'all aren't even that big. The shit is corny enough. And shit, you probably gonna scam us out the money before anything. So I don't want to hear it. 3 rounds, 1 minute each? Who's sponsoring this? Fucking Vine? And some people might respect the aspect of him wanting to fight it out like men so they can be bros again. But no. He clearly wants to profit off of this. And there's nothing respectful about that at all. And the video honestly just came off as unauthentic. This is why I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt and just say him and his girl girl were both on some drunk shit while plotting and filming this, just being reckless and having fun or something. Fuck, I'm trying. Met with Pasto Flaco among thousands of others just laughing at this buffoonery. Bentley's girl typing babe equates what, huh? And Candy laughing, doubling down saying you dead as hell, bruh. This blick chopping shit down, aka pay 600 for this Glock. I don't know what the fuck made this nigga think we boxing, with Bentley replying to that comment, still insisting on the match. And I also remember him saying something like, oh, I'm not gonna fight on some corny, cringy, C-list celebrity boxing shit, but especially with someone who I once called my brother, and his now go-to videographer, a very close OCA associate, and at this point a friend, a brother. .com I think bro hit it right on the head, summing this all up the best way, saying, you're lost. I think that's when people knew or should have known that this was real. The video was subsequently removed or archived within the next 12 hours, aka when Bentley had finally sobered up. And now, if this section of the video wasn't already confusing enough, as I can't show shit since motherfuckers clearly don't give a fuck, it also gets more tense and even worse, as what happened and the speculation surrounding it gets revealed. Now keep in mind that no one really knows what happened or is even talking about this shit, so dude, bitch, you gonna have to trust me. You ain't got no other option. But based off of my intuition, reading comments, and what I can recall, I've come to an educated conclusion that either a couple of things went down between Candy and Bentley, and the story or stories go a little something like this. One night at a party or really kickback at Candy's, which was really standard for Candy in his crib, the whole gang is there. 8 Ball or 8 and his girl at the time, Danielle aka Bad Baby, Bentley and his girl Emma, Candy and his girl Imani 22 aka Lone Brain on IG, and maybe even some more, having a great time, drinking and smoking and chilling and just blaring that new Young Smiley through the speakers, or that unreleased OCA. Not as good. They was lit, up off 1864, or whatever Fago said, when suddenly, whilst the girls were dancing, as they do, Bentley is a little too much off his drunk shit, and we know how unpredictable he can get from that. And if you know anything about the bitter abomination, it fucks you up for a while, as we've seen with him before, causing you to feel high and low emotions, causing you to make uncoordinated moves, and do unpredictable things you'd rather not do in a sober mindset. And as girls get twerking together and shit, twerking in a bunch, teamwork, smacking each other's shit, he must have got a little too geeky, wanted a little taste, and probably got behind his girl, as you do. And Candy's, and I hate to say this, but Bentley must have had sex with Imani, which is the most ridiculous take on this, I know, but it's also the most commonly said things in comments across YouTube and IG, and we don't really know, but we do, because certain text messages were posted that no one really remembers for sure, that literally no one happened to screenshot or at least take a picture off someone else's phone. God damn! But nah, I can't even say that, as it doesn't make sense. She was with Candy, and I mean really with him, more than a fling, more than a crush, more than a booty call, more than a I think she likes me. She was with Candy, that I mean in the same house, practically glued together almost for the longest. Forever it felt like, for real. So I don't want to believe that. I don't want to go that far. I mean, why would she do that to him? And to me, it's like, why would Bentley's girl still be fucking with him? Like she was female cucking, or she was cool with it or something, or had a little 3 thing going. Okay, bro, this shit is just fucking me up. But it's all speculation. We don't know. No one's telling us anything, and anything could have happened. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Or if not, Candy had just coincidentally cut ties with both Bentley and Imani right around the same exact time for unknown reasons, which I'm not buying. And the overall general assumption, and more safe one to go with, is that Bentley at least tried to do some fuck shit behind Candy's back, and that's just what it is. But just for the sake of the video, I'ma go for the more entertaining one, okay? And I hear what y'all might be saying. Wow, niggas mad about a girl, bro, what the fuck? Oh God, he's a simp. While that is a huge part of this shit, of course, it's not just that. It's about trust, honesty, loyalty, and he broke that. And just cause nigga, you know you get no bitches anyway. That as a boyfriend, scratch that, as a man, once a homie to somebody, you can't go for. You just can't accept, you just can't forgive. And proceeded to cut ties. And there it was. Bentley has just lost 2 of his biggest, most impactful connections to his career up until this point. With him now being inherently kicked from OCA, he just threw it all away. And for what? Now left with the unreleased song with Candy featuring 800, titled GTA 5, which would have been a fucking hit, and is low-key betting Candy's actual best songs together, solidifying them as a duo to the fans. With that lit-ass infectious hook, the vibe, the right promo, and video by Nirvana, it already having some hype on it due to the snippet and performance they did to it when dropped, it would have been something big. And a separate unreleased Nirvana video for another song that'll probably never see the light of day, it makes shit hit that much harder. As if there was ever a line crossed or a nail in the coffin, it would most definitely have to be the boxing video. Cause my nigga, what the fuck? And as a rapper with integrity and the actual fan base that wants to hear your music, like straight up, bro, you should not be boxing, let alone fighting anybody. You told the Drake and let it sing like Drake for a reason. It's embarrassing to your legacy and already a pathetic sign of lack of funds and some clout hungry shit. Like, leave that shit to them, the TikTokers, the Instagram comedians, the entertainers, the YouTubers, the actual fighters. And I get it, a whole bunch of people would pay money to see that, but it's just lame, would derail your value and be a fucking mess. Don't nobody want to see Meek Mill versus Lil Baby, like what the fuck? Especially when Candy was no doubt really hurt by this shit. I mean, I can only imagine getting crossed by your so-called little brother that you brung around and brought up, and his essentially wife. And just to add on to his heartbreak, oh, and here go little Mac ass over here trying to fight me and shit, trying to profit off my heartbreak and misery, spitting in the face of it and twisting it into a stupid fucking SoundCloud stunt. And if the nail in the coffin hadn't already been bad enough, with how things ended so abrupt and sour between Candy and Bent, it would get worse. Beef is weird, bro. Arguments, disagreements, fights, how they can ignite at times, go throughout time, and even how they get resolved is always weird and unpredictable for real. With that being said, and all this being done in such a short yet notable period of time, I still stand here today to tell you that Bentley and candypaint would have been cool again. And if not cool, then maybe cordial. Or not as mad. You know what I mean? Eventually. Things would never be the same again, but better. With their so similar career paths. They're damn near bound to bump into each other someday. And I would like to think, I hope, maybe something would have happened. An apology from Bentley, a new understanding for Candy, a resolution, a reasoning, a new balance in the situation. I mean, just look at the worst beefs you could ever imagine throughout the entire history of the entertainment business. There's always been an understanding, a silver lining, or even a full-on reconcile. You know, you can always loosen a nail out of a wall or bed or coffin. But when Imani Johnson passed away, falling victim to an apparent senseless hit and run in LA a few days prior, that's when I would say any and all ties, all chances of there being any reconciliation between Candy and Bent was just thrown out the window. And to any and all wondering how it went down, the story, according from what I know, read, and was able to gather, goes like, in the day or night, and I'm believing in some sort of neighborhood or parking lot of some sort, she was walking with her friends or one of her friends back to their car before an aggressive driver, who probably shockingly to them came up out of nowhere, hit her. And by the time that it had registered, he or she had just sped away before anyone could do anything about it. And I think, don't quote me on this, her friend or friends must have saw that she was laid out pretty bad and either called emergency services or rushed to the hospital themselves. And as I said, don't quote me on this, but she must have been hit in a certain way to where it caused instant trauma to the head, because she arrived to the hospital with all sorts of brain trauma and brain bleeds and probably a stroke, that there was pretty much little to nothing that the doctors could do other than plug her up. That then left her in a coma-induced state for a few days until she could fight no longer. Alright? Damn. Regardless of how it exactly went down, that's what it essentially led to. And with her now no longer being here to clear things up and be here for Candy, which would have eventually happened given their history and the circumstances they left off at, on top of her being one of the most important people to Candy's life in those last 2 years of it sucks. But going on to not just being another name added to the list of people he's lost, but almost the whole meaning behind and reason to his story, an essential part to his career and catalog, and most notably to one of his now biggest songs to date. As not too long after her passing, and to be exact, about 2 weeks, the 22 song from Candy's original Everything Purple tape that I mentioned earlier, the song about Imani 22, exploded all across the internet with the remix alongside another loved one of hers and unlikely sister to Candy, Danielle, better known as Bad Baby, taking TikTok by storm and blew up, becoming Candy's first actual viral hit. Not solely because of Bad Baby in my eyes, and her being a social media giant and all, but something else. You know, the universe. Ironically enough, the official song that was out for 2.5 years by then, and the remix being out months prior, got Candy one of his first hits. And with the song being named after her, about her, and oddly enough going up right around the time she passed, life is strange. And it was clear through just the posts they had about each other that they had something going on that at that point wasn't done. Something that we never saw to the fullest extent and is beyond something that we will ever probably feel, let alone understand. And that in due time and new understandings would have been rekindled at any moment. If only they had gotten the chance to. She really meant a lot to him, bro. And I'm sure this loss was a rock for him in many ways. Although he may not show it, although he may not cry on camera, no, that shit hurt. And with shit going so south and sour as it did, the fact that those were probably the last moments they shared together, and Bentley was probably the reason for it. Oh, jeez. Candy probably wants to kill this nigga. Oh my god. And I don't blame him.
We cracking jokes, but I bank. The cops put you up, better do what they say. They taking new niggas every day. I'm in the
De lo que al saber voy cantando y fumando. El BMW, el cansancio, la vida. No puedo conocer, voy bajando.
And speaking of Bentley, I don't know what's been going on with him, man. He kind of fell back into and deeper into the underground, if that even makes sense. And it sucks to even say that, because he's such a talented fuck. I mean, more than some of the TikTok niggas that are up now, who took the sound and influence that he built from him, with a lot of great songs under his belt and shit. Regardless of what happened, I think that's something that we would all agree with, and should have been up there with the top dogs of the underground now, like he once was. But now it's unfortunate to say that it wouldn't make any sense for them to even look in his direction. Struggling to crack 30K on the majority of his tracks, inconsistency in releasing new material, dropping a mere 2 to 3 songs tops for the remainder of 2021, that year when the fallout happened, when he was arguably at his biggest, leading to a drop in engagements, in his likes, live viewers, and ain't no telling what else. Now I'm definitely sure he's just scamming his fans out of reposts, open verses that the prices have also gone down for. He's in crypto schemes, TikTok antics, struggling to keep up with the times, the whole nine, all because he blew it. And to say all this about one person's career trajectory that was once on the way of being at an Autumn's, a Summers, a Can, maybe even a Yeats, okay, that's a stretch. It's crazy. People say the reason why Ben fell off, or to be honest, I don't even like using that word, because bro, anybody can bounce back, especially when they were so hard and talented and diverse before. But yeah, why people say he fell off, or rather reached his demise prematurely, was always either because his sound was stuck in 2019, or threw people off once he drove into the Spanish lane, or his consistency. But with all those testaments, I just couldn't disagree with more. As if you're tapped into him, you know he's been hopping on these Zay Skills, Shark Boy, Emar, Pink Grills beats, and even making those ballads, and even slow down, club banging, low tempo Spanish music. And has low-key been on his little grind as of late. But the difference is, he's all by himself doing it now, which makes things a lot harder. As connections, especially in the underground, they are key, they are important. I mean, just look at TSM Beezy, B1 Sosa, Dayro Baby, Jay Glocky, and fucking goddamn Rico Bands. That sounds like somebody that'd be a part of their group, who are catching the most heat right now, the most traffic to their profiles than ever, which wouldn't have been the case if they weren't Double R, if they didn't know Ken, Reno, people close to them. I mean, 100K on SoundCloud easy, just off of being around these niggas. They ain't even that good. I'm pretty sure that we can all agree, at the moment, all the Double R affiliates are bigger than Cash Bentley. But I can't even knock it, cause ain't that something? Simply off their affiliation with Double R. The old Slade dudes or the entirety of Double R don't really fuck with him, or they can't because of their loyalty to Candy, including Nirvana, which may seem a little fishy to y'all, but could you blame him? It's not like Bentley ass made that shit a hard choice, cause why wouldn't you fuck with him? Why would you get on his bad side? I mean, look at bro personality.
If that nigga Reno want his chain and his phone back, tell that nigga call us.
KJ's a cool dude who really be staying out the way and in his bag. You hardly ever even see him in the light like this, getting along with everybody for the most part, not even on no music shit. And you really gotta be a bitch. I mean, you really had to have done some whole shit for you to get on his bad side, especially when you were his homeboy. He's hit a roadblock, and he has no one to blame for that but himself, and possibly his girl. As I don't know, bro, but once he got a girl, that kind of started slowing him down and holding him back. I mean, fucking him up and fucking up his character. She started to change him from his ways. He wasn't dropping no more like that. More getting geeked every night and partying than recording, dropping new shit, capitalizing, and staying on top of the wave that he already had, but rather posting meaningless personal on and off drama with his girl, like we give a fuck. Like, I swear I've seen the "we broke up" story like several times, talking about some, yeah, y'all go comment on her page. No, cunt, shut the fuck up, we want music! Nowadays, he's just known as the fake mugshot shooting, clout hungry, pancreas ejected from his body, celebrity boxing, washed up has-been, who still could have made it out of that, but couldn't. Nirvana's gonna be out of here in the next couple of years, being seen as the next Cole Bennett and all, while Candy will never truly fall off, in my opinion. He will really either stay underground or blow at this point. With his gradual progression as an artist, connections, he said it's inevitable for him. He's built to have at least some success and some recognition that Bentley does deserve, and that he could have gotten a taste of himself, but may never get. And I would even consider myself a supporter of Cash Bentley's at once. At one point, being a huge fan of his. He was in my top 5 alive for sure. Late 2019, I mean back in the early Ronin days, I mean come on bro, y'all know that man was holding it down. But with him now no longer being on the blogs or not in the news at all for anything, not even dropping music, no longer kicking it with the guys or anybody we know, you know, doing songs with them, I've officially lost interest and can safely say it's been about up to a full year up until this point for the sake of this video that I even checked for bro. I forgot about all this. I forgot all about him. Nowadays, Bentley is still continuing in his career endeavors, as in the drought as it may be, while Candy's continuing to prosper and getting bigger every day, whether it's between his connections, his big annoying yet funny ass outgoing personality, and making these heartfelt lit tunes, keeping the name of the girl he loved most alive. He's thriving. He's dropping tapes, doing some pretty good numbers, getting pretty notable features, cosigns, fire merch, and a kid on the way, like real grown man tingz. And this feud with it kind of going unsaid and Cass Bentley's name being blackballed in the underground for the past year has kind of haunted him since, with fans trolling, asking him questions about it on his lives. And I swear, like one time not too long ago, he added a fan during one of his talent shows or whatever, and dude joined a live with a picture of candypaint plastered all over the screen. The same picture, just blasting "What's Up" by Candypaint or some shit, just to piss Bentley off. And I had never seen a live end so quick. And it's crazy because out of all the stupid, potentially fake ass, petty beefs I cover, this is the only one that I wish was fake or was something petty that could be resolved through a phone call or a simple face-to-face convo, but I don't see that happening. Anyway, oh yeah, one more thing, I didn't know where else to put this in the vid, but at the end, so yeah, there's this one line on 22 by Candypaint on the original and the remix song that resonates so much with so many people and summarizes this whole shit and low-key foreshadows what was to come.
I can't believe these jokes. Niggas dap me up saying bro, then try to talk to my hoe. But we ain't stressing anything. It's the purple everything. It's the purple everything.
To all spoken on regarding this video, I don't mean no harm bro, I don't mean no foul, I'm just trying to make a banging ass video. It's now looking back, no one really cares, or not even that, they just don't know about this. Especially with there being new fans and new people coming around who fuck with them, being clueless, left in the dark, probably thinking niggas is still cool. And I mean, if I got anything wrong or spoke out of line on anything, my bad. Hit me in the DM bro, like, let's chat. It's like, nah, I don't want to talk to you niggas. Niggas gonna fuck around and scam me on my Instagram somehow. I already know niggas not gonna fuck with me, especially after this. And especially seeing how rappers treat media personalities and bloggers whenever they even speak on a slightly negative topic about them. I'm good, just leave a comment and I'll pin it. And if not them, then at least someone. Clear shit up in the comments with some sort of validity and I'll pin it. And no, I ain't taking shit down. But yeah, long live injustice for 22. Candy, go crazy with that till motherfucker. Where the videos at? And Bentley, when I pull up to that Taco Bell right by Ross on 6th Street, slide a brother a few extra sauces if you can, if you really fuck with the kid. Nah, I'm fucking with you. Keep going crazy if you can. If you're able to prevail past this, if you still have that fire, if you still have that ambition that I hope you do, and to become that star that you were born to be, I'll be there. I'll support. Cause you fire, bro, like I swear, but you just fumbled the bag so hard. You fucked up. Big time. Real underground shit, man. Damn.